This afternoon, opposition NDC serves notice it will resist the Electoral Commission's planned rerun of the Dom Kwabenya parliamentary elections at one polling station. Also, the ZAR NDC Professionals Forum backs Alban Bagban's retention as Speaker of Parliament with barely 1 week to Parliament reconvening. We have details. A lot later, school feeding caterers hit the street demanding payment of arrears as they fear a change in government could affect their fortunes. You're welcome to yet another Monday. It's the last of 2024. Hello there, welcome to News Central. I am Mawina Igbeta. The bulletin starts right now. And we're starting off with the parliamentary conversation because it's been brewing for quite a while, disputed seats in relation to the outcome of the general election, amongst many other things. Let's try and talk you through it, because the opposition NDC says it will resist the EC's move to rerun elections at one polling station in the Dom Kwabenya constituency. This comes barely 24 hours to the party mounting a strong challenge in respect of 4 other constituencies originally declared in their favor. We'll hear from the party shortly, but let's first walk you through constituencies thus far and what the situation is in relation to them. Let's try and do that for you right now this afternoon in relation to the 4 outstanding constituencies and what the situation is at this particular point in time. Well, starting with Akwasi Central, and you know that story already. The NDC candidate there, Baba Sadiq, was declared winner after the December 7 general election. The Electoral Commission set aside that declaration, making the argument that it was illegal or that the declaration did not follow laid-down processes as captured in CI 127. Now, the court was ordered, after the NPP filed a mandamus application, the court ordered the High Court, in respect of that matter, ordered the Electoral Commission to complete that process. The EC recollated the constituency result and declared Patrick Yalbuama as the winner of the Akwasi Central seat. The NDC, displeased, went to the Supreme Court and had the court set aside the High Court's order, which allowed the Electoral Commission recollate the constituency results for Akwasi Central, and ordering a recollation, eventually quashing what happened in Akwasi Central. And so that's the situation with respect to Akwasi Central. Let's take you to Ablekuma North as well right now, because the NDC candidate there as well, Irabna Obin, was declared winner. The Electoral Commission said they had set aside that declaration. A court ordered the Electoral Commission to complete the process. The EC could not complete the process. In fact, they attempted completing the process, but they could not because the pink sheets were destroyed. And both the NPP, the NDC, all do not have the set pink sheets. And so they've not been able to finish the recollation process and redeclare a winner for Ablekuma North. But we know that the Supreme Court has set aside that High Court order which allowed the Electoral Commission to be able to recollate the election results in that particular constituency. Take you to Dom Kwabenya as well. That particular constituency as well, the NDC candidate for was declared winner. The Electoral Commission set aside a declaration insisting that it was done illegally or did not follow laid down procedures. The Electoral Commission cancelled the result at one polling station and has announced, amongst many others, that they will be seeking to rerun the election at Abokobi Women's Development Center 2. That's the polling station in question. They will seek to rerun the elections in that particular constituency. And then the last of which is Techiman South. The coalition was scuttled at the constituency level. The EC subsequently declared the NPP candidate winner, who is the local government minister, he was declared winner. The Supreme Court had set aside that particular declaration, and so it is back to as it were with respect to that particular constituency. And then we know that based off on the Supreme Court's ruling last week, Friday, they've asked the High Court to hear and decide whether the Electoral Commission should be ordered to undertake recollation and redeclaration. Well, the NDC's Director of Legal Affairs, Godwin Eduji Tamaklo, has been speaking in respect of the rerun at the Dom Kwabenya constituency, making the argument that they will not allow the Electoral Commission proceed.
If you permit the Electoral Commission to sit in Accra and just overturn results in what they claim to be, like, according to them, either you use wrong pinches or whatever, there's a potent danger. The 2013 election petition, the Supreme Court, in fact, their candidate, Akufo-Addo, wanted the Supreme Court to invalidate the presidential election result and affected polling stations on grounds that presiding officers did not sign. And he makes the point that the constitutional imperative is in the Constitution that the presiding officer shall, and that failure should result the invalidation of the Supreme Court says no. It is not, you know, like a binary conversation. It's about the votes of people. It's about their mandate. And so you need to be extremely careful in taking a decision to annul or to invalidate the results.
So what's the next step for the NDC with regards to that planned attempt for a rerun by the Electoral Commission?
Obviously, the whole claim to rerun is, has no constitutional basis, because regulation 39 up to regulation 40 of CI 127 provides the mechanism. Look, if the Electoral Commission even wants to be fair, the ballot box is there. Is it not there? You can say that, okay, let's agree to open it. Open it. And you open it in such a way that you can do the read, whatever it is, and assess whether when on the face of your pink, what do we call it, the pink sheet, the NDC obtained 200 and something, is it in accordance with what is in the ballot box? Right. There are a lot of mechanisms to resolve this problem than calling for a rerun. And you see, the danger is that if you permit this thing to go on, mischievous presiding officers can use this thing to undermine the electoral process. And that is why you don't do that. We should not permit the Electoral Commission or encourage them to do that. Look, I have always said, whatever we do today will be used against us tomorrow. And so we need to be very careful. At this rate, I can see deliberate incompetence on the part of the Electoral Commission. And it worries me a lot. It worries me.
So for now, what is the advice from the Director of Legal to the party?
No, we are not going to permit any rerun. Look, that Abokobi Center is our stronghold. Even the pink sheet.
When you say you're not going to allow a rerun, what do you intend to do? Because the commission...
I am keeping our strategies to ourselves, but we will not permit it. That I can trust you.
So, looking ahead to tomorrow as well, and that hearing of the mandamus application, the Supreme Court says you should be given a hearing. Based on the Supreme Court's decision, one would have even argued that when this recollation attempt was tried on Saturday again, the NDC should not have been there, because Dom Kwabenya is one of the many constituencies which have been affected by that Supreme Court ruling, and the hearing will be expected.
I think that maybe we may have to put it in context. You see, there were 6 mandamus applications. There was no reference to Dom Kwabenya. There was no reference in the mandamus application to Obuasi East. But you see, immediately the electoral Ablekuma North and Co. Techiman South, you know what they did? They quickly, behind the scene, included Obuasi East and proceeded to invalidate the previous declaration that was done and now claim that there is a purported new declaration. I mean, why would the Electoral Commission be conducting its affairs in that manner? It is worrying. As for what will happen tomorrow in court, I do not, because I'm lawyer on record, I do not want to have any conversation. But I just want to bring you up to speed with how the Electoral Commission unjustifiably included Obuasi East into the conversation when there was no court order in relation to that. It's problematic.
For those which have been subsequently upheld by the Supreme Court, we're talking of...
The two upheld in Sawam.
Sawam Adreju and then Ahafo North.
Yes, and Ahafo North. We will know how to deal with it. Then the 4, they said we should file our responses, which we will do. Then Obuasi East has already been declared and a winner pronounced.
Now to Parliament, because the Speaker, Alban Bagbin, says he will insist that the right thing is done by ensuring that properly elected members of Parliament are sworn in. Speaking to the NDC's professional forum, he maintained he has the power to swear in legislators.
In the truth, I have nothing to fear. If you ask me tomorrow that I said yes, I said it. The decision of the Supreme Court just followed the position I took before even they delivered their decision. To become a member of Parliament, you have to be elected by the voter. And you have to be declared by the Electoral Commission. But you have to be sworn in by the Speaker. Until you are sworn in by the Speaker, you remain MP-elect. So I was very clear in my mind that some of those re-collation and re-declaration were completely null and void ab initio. They were unknown to the law. And so they were not properly so-called MPs-elect and not qualified to be sworn in by me.
Well, Alban Bagbin, he's receiving some support from the NDC's Professionals Forum. Its national president, Ambassador Sam Piyale, has warned the party's elected members of parliament not to dare try to change the speaker.
For those who work very close with you, they see you as the Speaker of Parliament. But we saw you as a pivotal link between the NDC as a party and Parliament. You represented the spirit of our party. Anytime we spoke to you and with you, you had insisted that you wanted to establish strong and stronger institutions like the Parliament. And once again, Right Honorable Speaker, we want to assure you of our unflinching support for your endeavors. We want to be the first to dare say that our members of Parliament should dare not make a mistake. Toway, they dare not make any mistake in changing you.
Let's speak to Professor Ali Seidu. He's the head of the Political Science Department at the University of Ghana. Subject this to a bit more scrutiny. This support Alban Bagbin is receiving, and whether or not a decision to change him could prove detrimental for the NDC in Parliament. Prof, I appreciate that you could speak to us this afternoon. We've just heard the NDC's Professionals Forum warning elected members of Parliament not to dare attempt to change Alban Bagbin as Speaker. A sound caution in your view?
Yeah, thank you so much, and good evening to your viewers. I think we need to assess this situation looking at two important things. One, the character of the individual we are looking at, his character, his experience, and his track record, but also the circumstances, the political environment we are in at the moment. First, with the character and temperament and traits of the Right Honourable Speaker Alban Bagbin. I think he's one of the most experienced individuals when it comes to parliamentary procedure and the workings of Parliament.
Right.
He has been an MP himself. He has been a majority leader. He has been a minority leader. He has served in a lot of committees, and he has been the Speaker for the 8th Parliament. And when you look at what he has been able to do, people thought because he was an NDC, he has an NDC background, he will have been a little bit biased towards the NDC. But he has been very firm. He has stuck to the rules of the House, and he has been impartial. To the extent that there was even a time that one of the front benches of the NDC, Honorable Mutaka, had issues with him, that he was not being fair to the NDC. So you could imagine such an even-handed, balanced person handling a very challenging parliament we've ever had, 137, an evenly divided parliament. He was able to steer it to a very complete end. So it's somebody with a track record, with the experience to be able to lead. The second bit has to do with the political environment. Will the 9th Parliament be like the 8th Parliament? The circumstances are quite different. We've seen that in the 9th Parliament, NDC is going to have an overwhelming majority, and NDC is going to be in government. Unlike in the 8th Parliament where NDC was in opposition and they had equal number of seats, now NDC is going to be in power. NDC has an overwhelming, almost two-thirds majority of the seats. So we need a Speaker of Parliament who is not only going to master the art of the game, but who is going to serve to some extent as a check on the overwhelming majority that the NDC has.
And you believe...
So he, as somebody with experience, somebody with the track record, is somebody who will be able to provide that element of countervailing balance to the NDC overwhelming majority by doing an impartial job in Parliament. And I think both the majority and the minority side have worked with him. They are even members of Parliament, but also as a Speaker. And they appreciate his frankness, his unique temperament, and his neutrality in this work. So I think he's one of the best front runners for the job. And if the NDC doesn't have any problem with him, the way he said the 8th Parliament, I think he should be the one that they should go for.
There are insider conversations about an attempt to seek to balance out in terms of the power scale within the party across the various regions. And so, reason for which we're even seeing a conversation in relation to whether or not Alban Bagbin should still be Speaker. There are those who make the argument that with Mr. Mahama from the north, they should be looking at someone from elsewhere to be handling possibly Parliament. Is that a conversation that can hold, looking at all of the considerations that should be made going into the 9th Parliament?
So I agree that there should be an element of balance in our governance system. But we should not sacrifice either ethnic or religious or regional balance on the merits of what? Expediency. It should be done based on, on the platform of expediency. It should be done based on the platform of what? Experience. I believe that there are a lot of portfolios, NDC winning political power, that they can compensate regions, tribes, religious backgrounds that had contributed enormously to the success of the party. You remember when Haruna Idrisu and Muntaka were removed?
Yeah.
That was also the undertones that were read into that particular removal. And up to now, the NDC still have those cracks very deep, and they are still trying to heal it. So I think that Alban Bagbin is one of the most qualified that we can have, and he can do the job. There are other very critical appointments that the party can make to compensate other aspects of either the identities, either it's ethnic or it's religion or regional, to be able to make sure that everybody has their stake and then move on. And NDC has to be doing this with 2028 in mind, we should know that Mahama is just doing a turn, and they need a united front, especially the kind of bickering and posturing that we will see post Mahama. It's not going to be, if no one manages, it's not going to be healthy for the party. So I think they should pick the most experienced people to countervail the power that Parliament is needed to move forward and to project national interests. But also, there are a lot of critical positions in the party and in government that the NDC can compensate other regions, other ethnics, other religious groups that have played very critical role in government, in the opposition, and bring them to power. So that moving into the next elections, post Mahama, they will present a united front and be able to win decisively than they have done in the 2024 elections.
Finally, what does this say, this conversation and the nature of it being so open? Many would have argued that perhaps this should have been insider conversations and not seeing Ambassador Sampiale issuing warnings to MPs elected not to attempt to remove him. Some could want to read meanings. It could put 10 issues beneath the surface that we're seeing.
So I think that's the beauty of democracy. Democracy allows for stakeholder engagement. It allows for lobbying. It allows for agenda setting. So all those things are allowed in democracy. But the beauty is that, like I've mentioned, I thought this should have been what? An insider conversation of the party stakeholders to make sure that the right thing is done now. Because look, there's a lot of expectations from Ghanaians who have voted massively for the NDC to do a lot. And you need a lot of competent hands to be able to steer this country to the expectation of the people who have voted. One, but also two, the NDC need to perform in order to win the trust of Ghanaians in 2028. We always say that every election is a census on the performance of the government. And this will not be the time for experimentation based on certain identity lines. It should be based on competent hands who can manage the expectations of the people who have voted for the NDC and to make the NDC more competitive after 2028. So I think, one, people are allowed to set the agenda, people are allowed to lobby, people are allowed to do all those things. But I still believe that the NDC as a political party has all the track record and the people who should be able to sit down and determine these issues in a way that will make the party remain united, more competitive, and be able to meet the aspirations of the Ghanaians who have endorsed them overwhelmingly in this year's election.
Prof, I appreciate that you could speak to us this afternoon. That's Professor Ali Dusaidu speaking to us this afternoon in relation to conversations about whether or not Alban Bagbin should be retained as the Speaker of Parliament. There's a lot of context that we should be putting all of these conversations which we've been bringing you, starting with the Speaker himself making reference to the fact that he will be swearing in members of Parliament, and then the election of the Speaker as well. Let's try and walk you through that this afternoon. It's quite lengthy, but we'll seek to provide a bit more education for you this afternoon with respect to what is expected to happen in the lead up to the official formation of the 9th Parliament. And so on the 6th of January 2025, what is expected to take place is the election of the Speaker, and then the swearing in of the Speaker, and then members-elect will take place at midnight, midnight on the 7th of January. But we'll seek to provide a bit more context for you, starting from what happens with respect to the election of a Member of Parliament. And so the returning officer, as has become a subject of debate whether or not a declaration was legal or not, will declare the winning candidates in a constituency. He will be expected to forward to the Electoral Commission the endorsed writ and a note of the total number of votes cast for each candidate. From there, the Electoral Commission is expected to publish in the Gazette a notice stating the name of the person elected and the total number of votes cast for each candidate, and then as well inform the clerk to Parliament soon after of the name of the candidate-elect. That is what has been happening. And if you've been following us here on TV3, we were making reference as to the EC presenting a gazette and a list of elected members of Parliament, bar 2, that is Dom Kwabenya and then Ablekuma North, which was what was transmitted to Parliament somewhere last week. Now, from there, this is what is expected to happen. From there, the elected members of parliament, from among members of parliament or whom are qualified to be elected as members of parliament, will see to the election of the speaker. The clerk of parliament who will be provided this gazette with names of elected members of parliament will perform a roll call on the 9th to the 7th of January. And from that roll call, nominations will come forth from either members of parliament present or a name from outside of parliament, from which the MPs will be expected to vote and then elect a speaker. Now, in terms of the qualification and eligibility of a person who can be elected speaker, citizen of Ghana, attain age of 21 possible, and a registered voter as well, that is the qualification. A person who will not qualify to be speaker will have to be someone who owes allegiance to a country other than Ghana, has been adjudged or otherwise declared bankrupt under any law in force in the country and has not been discharged. Also, to be of unsound mind or is detained as a criminal or lunatic and has been convicted for high crime or high treason or treason, and then as well an offense involving the security of the state, fraud, dishonesty, or moral turpitude, for any other offense punishable by death or by a sentence of not less than 10 years. Anybody who falls within this particular category will not be regarded sound to be able to stand for the position as speaker. And lastly, for an offense relating to or connected with election under a law in force in Ghana at any time. And so with respect to what is expected to happen with regards the position of speaker. Now, consent here, where a person shall not be proposed for elections as speaker unless the person has given a written consent to the clerk to be nominated as speaker. And so even as the conversations will go, and this conversation which has already started with regards whether or not Alban Bagbin will be nominated again as speaker, he must have provided his consent to the clerk of parliament to allow for him to be nominated and then elected as speaker. If he does not agree, then he cannot be a part of the list of individuals who will be brought before the House for the members of parliament elect to vote and approve for him to become speaker. And then we can move forward with the procedure for election of speaker. And so the speaker is elected before the members are sworn in. The clerk will preside over the proceedings, which is what we've been telling you. The clerk first conducts a roll call of all members of parliament, which I was telling you about. And then from there, a member-elect shall propose a person for election as speaker. A motion to be seconded without debate or remarks will proceed, which will pave way for the election. Now, where only one person is elected, the person shall be declared elected without any voting. Now, if voting is to be conducted, it will be done via secret ballot if more than one person is proposed, which is what we saw on the 9th of the 8th Parliament and all of that chasing which happened there. Now, the person who receives the highest number of votes shall be declared as speaker. Where votes are equal because between two candidates, another round of voting is expected to take place. Now, where two candidates obtain the same vote after 3 elections, candidates have to be withdrawn for new nominations to be made. And that's the process with regards to electing the speaker. Now, the clerk will declare the result at the close of voting. The speaker then takes the oath of allegiance, and the speaker's oath, interestingly, is administered by the Chief Justice. And then there will be the election as well of the 2 deputy speakers, and that will be supervised by the speaker for the election of the 2 deputy speakers, and they are not to belong to the same party. And so you'd expect one will be from the NDC and one will be from the NPP or an independent candidate. And then we can move to the procedure for the election of the deputy speaker. Essentially, the procedure which applies to the Speaker is what will apply, except that the process is supervised this time by the Speaker of Parliament, which I mentioned earlier. Now, in terms of the swearing in of members of Parliament, the members-elect shall take an oath of allegiance and oath of a member of Parliament before the Speaker of Parliament as well. And so these are the processes which we will be expecting on the 9th of January 7 to take place before the 9th Parliament will officially be formed. And so a bit of education for you, and that's what will take us on to our next break for you here, or our very first break, I should say, here on NewsCentral. We return with a bit more stories because school feeding caterers have been picketing. The president is handing out national awards. We'll take you to all of these centers if you stay with us here on NewsCentral.
This is the reason why I love Ghana.
Then the lottery Akwasi painted here. Yenim said Ghana and Nadim Kunim.
We are one. Ghana as one.
We are proud about Ghana. Sabaya 2 years now. Akwasi Asundem. Ayen Shapa how we are.
Africa and the rest of the world salute Ghana.
Don't forget the lottery Akwasi paint. Send love. Love to all Ghanaians. The lottery Akwasi paint.
Goil, in the service of the name.
Ho, ho, ho. Now you know how I get to you with Super Joy. Super XP. That's what fuels my rounds. I get value for money, enjoy smooth rides, and it takes me further. I wish you safe drives and a Super XP Christmas. Ho, ho, ho. Here we go.
Celebrate with Go Super XP and enjoy our excellent range of products this festive season.
Goil, good energy. Joy, dear.
Somali, are you ready for the biggest New Year pool party? Yes, on the 1st of January 2025, the second edition of KD's All-White New Year Party is happening live with the legendary Abranti Abachi Dede. Last year, the fun and enjoyment was on a different level, but trust me, this year is going to be fantabulously better. Come, let's start the year with a positive vibe with families and friends at King David, the finest entertainment complex inside town. Come and indulge in luxury, wine and dine at our exquisite restaurant where every bite tells a story. KD's Pizza and KD's Special Choco Grill Guinea Fowl with hot or mild pepper. When the sunset, the party begins at KD's nightclub or pub with live band settings every week. Top-notch security system, both physical and electronic. You are safe to party with us on the 1st of January 2025 at the KD's All-White New Year Party.
Tamale. You never bound for. The Baba Jimmy, there's January. Love you, Tamale. Love
you. Through every step of life's unpredictable journey, every moment counts. That's why you need a partner you can always trust for solutions, so you can be rest assured. Having impacted over 200,000 lives, processed over 4.2 million claims, partnered with over 400 corporations, paid out over 836 million Ghana cedis in claims, contracted over 1,600 healthcare facilities nationwide, and pioneered several innovations like free medicine delivery, an interactive mobile app, and more. You'll be surprised what can be accomplished in 20 years. We're part of the Nationwide family. Are you? Nationwide Medical Insurance, 20 years of leading the way.
This is the the show that brings finality to all the critical issues. It is the stage where all the facts are checked, issues thoroughly interrogated, opinions shaped, and debates settled. But over here, we do more than just talk. We resolve problems. We hold those in power accountable. We address all the key happenings in society, from politics to health to education to everything you deem important. And we will center the voice of the ordinary Ghanaian. This is the show that sets the agenda.
Agenda shows Mondays at 9 p.m. on TV3.
TV3, first in news. One.
And you're welcome back to News Central. And I mentioned to you before we went on that break that the president was handing out national awards. In fact, persons, including Hawa Kumsin, who is the fisheries minister, as well as Godfrey Dami, who is Attorney General, have been receiving awards. We'll take you there shortly, but let's try and walk you through the national awards and the levels to which an individual can be awarded right now. And we'll start off with the highest, really, in the order of awards you can receive, which is the Order of the Star and Eagles of Ghana. It was established in June 2008. It's the highest national decoration presented to only those who have obtained the office of President of the Republic of Ghana. And guess what? President Akufo-Addo, not President Akufo-Addo, I beg your pardon, President John Agyekum Kufuor is the name I want to mention. He awarded himself that particular honor, the Order of the Star and Eagles of Ghana, in 2008. There was a lot of debate in relation to that particular award he gave to himself, but this is the highest award you can receive in the country, and it's mostly going to persons who've been president before. Now, from there, Order of the Star of Ghana, and this was established in July of 1960, is the second highest award given by the government of Ghana, and it's given to persons who've contributed to the country as well. And then the last is the Order of the Voter, established as well in 1960, given to people who've provided outstanding service to the country as well. And then there's the Medal for Gallantry. That as well was established in 1960. It recognizes acts of courage by civilians, military personnel, police officers, or foreigners as well. And so the Medal for Gallantry is the last in terms of the ranks of national honors that can be provided to you as a citizen of Ghana or as a foreign national. Let's take you right now to the Accra International Conference Center as awards are being handed out at this particular moment to deserving individuals.
For your dedicated service to Ghana, the Republic of Ghana confers on you Dr. Evans Agbemijiku, the State Honor of Grand Medal. A round of applause for Dr. Evans Agbemijiku. We now bring on stage Deputy Chief Fire Officer Retired, Alhaji Richard Jibril Nuhu. You are an exceptional leader, a dedicated firefighter, and a transformational figure in Ghana's National Fire Service. In recognition of your dedicated service to Ghana all these years, the Republic of Ghana confers on you Alhaji Richard Jibril Nuhu, the State Honor of Grand Medal. A round of applause, please, for him. We celebrate you, Alhaji. Next to come on stage is a no stranger to the stage, Jedu Blay Ambole. As a talented singer, rapper, songwriter, record producer, and instrumentalist, your contributions to the Ghana music industry have won you several awards and accolades. The Ragamzo Man, creating a legacy that continues to influence contemporary Ghanaian music and inspire creativity in actors in the music and creative arts industry. You have indeed solidified your position as one of the country's most revered musical icons. In recognition of your outstanding contributions to Ghana's creative arts industry, the Republic of Ghana confers on you the State Honor of Grand Medal. The next to come on stage is Miss Juliet Ya Asantwa Asante. You are a trailblazer in media and dedicated advocate for the creative arts. As the Executive Secretary of the National Film Authority, you have been at the forefront of revitalizing Ghana's film industry. In recognition of your dedicated public service, the Republic of Ghana confers on you, Miss Juliet Ya Asantwa Asante, the State Honor of Grand Medal. A round of applause for her, please. The next to come on stage is Dr. Edwin Alfred Ni Obodai Provençal. As the Chief Executive Officer of the Bulk Oil Storage and Transportation Company Limited, Bosco, you have demonstrated exceptional leadership, strategic foresight, and a commitment to advancing the national oil and gas infrastructure. In recognition of your dedicated public service, the Republic of Ghana confers on you Dr. Edwin Alfred Ni Obodai Provençal, the State Honor of Grand Medal. A round of applause for him, please. We now bring on stage Mr. Eko Hackman. Over the past 8 years, your remarkable achievements have included championing policies and programs aimed at stimulating economic growth. In recognition of your dedicated public service, the Republic of Ghana today confers on you, Mr. Eko Hackman, the State Honor of Grand Medal. A round of applause for Mr. Eko Hackman. Your selfless service and tireless advocacy for economic growth and media freedom exemplify the highest ideals of citizenship. We celebrate you today. We now bring on stage Dr. Richard Ampofubuedu. As the administrator of the Ghana Education Trust Fund, GET Fund, you have demonstrated exceptional leadership, foresight, and an unwavering commitment. Today, in recognition of that dedicated public service, the Republic of Ghana confers on you Dr. Richard Ampofubuedu, the State Honor of Grand Medal. A round of applause for him, please. Your leadership continues to inspire progress in education, ensuring that the next generation of Ghanaians are empowered with the knowledge and skills needed to succeed. Congratulations once again. We now bring on stage Dr. Maxwell Opoku-Afare. You have been very instrumental in overseeing the implementation of policies that have strengthened the Ghanaian banking sector, enhanced regulatory frameworks, and fostered financial inclusion. In recognition of your dedicated public service, the Republic of Ghana today confers on you Dr. Maxwell Opoku-Afare, the State Honor of Grand Medal. A round of applause for Dr. Maxwell Opoku-Afare, please. Next to come on stage is Mrs. Elsie Ado Awaji. As a respected figure on the global stage, you have represented Ghana in high-level discussions with international financial institutions, contributing to shaping monetary policy and financial governance frameworks at the regional and global levels. In recognition of your dedicated public service, the Republic of Ghana today confers on you Mrs. Elsie Ado Awaji, the State Honor of Grand Medal. A round of applause for her, please. We now bring on stage Captain Edmond Kojo-Koda. Your deep understanding of security dynamics, combined with your commitment to professionalism and service, has earned you the trust and respect of your colleagues and peers in both the military and civilian sectors. Today, in recognition of your dedicated public service, the Republic of Ghana confers on you Captain Edmond Kojo-Koda, the State Honor of Grand Medal. A round of applause for Captain Edmond Kojokoda once again. Indeed, your efforts continue to inspire confidence in the security of Ghana's government, contributing to the country's political stability and prosperity. We now bring on stage Dr. Mustafa Abdul Hamid. You have built an outstanding reputation throughout your illustrious career and demonstrated exceptional leadership skills, serving in various capacities, including Minister of Information and Presidential Spokesperson, where you masterfully oversaw all government communications. As Chief Executive of the NPA, you have been instrumental in implementing significant reforms within the Ghanaian petroleum downstream industry. In recognition of your dedicated service, the Republic of Ghana confers on you the State Honor of Grand Medal. We now bring on stage Mrs. Irene Natoshi Adolate. As a strong advocate for women's empowerment and girls' education, you supported the economic and social development of women and girls in Ghana and beyond. You are a distinguished Ghanaian public servant. In recognition of your outstanding contributions, the Republic of Ghana confers on you Mrs. Irene Natoshi Adolate, the State Honor of Grand Medal. A huge round of applause for her, please. We now bring on stage Honorable Emmanuel Adumwa Bosman. Your profound contributions to streamlining administrative procedures at the presidency has earned you widespread recognition as a visionary leader. In recognition of your dedicated service to Ghana, the Republic of Ghana confers on you Honorable Emmanuel Adumwa Bosman, the State Honor of Grand Medal. A round of applause for him, please. I now bring on stage Jerry Ajololo to take us through the third set of presentations, which will be the Order of the Volta member.
Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen, Order of the Volta member. For real estate construction, Dr. James Orleans Lindsay. Your hard work and commitment to providing excellent services has won you several awards, such as the Real Estate CEO of the Year, Lifetime Achievement Awards, and many more. Your continuous mentorship, as you share your expertise and insights at various prestigious fora, have created an avenue for young leaders to gain in-depth knowledge from you and placed Ghana on the globe. In recognition of your dedicated service to Ghana, the Republic of Ghana confers on you Dr. James Orleans Lindsay, the State Honor of the Order of the Volta member. Congratulations. Order of the Volta member, Civil Society Child Advocacy, Mr. Bright Appiah. Your tireless work has earned you recognition from stakeholders in the government, civil society, and international organizations. Your participation in national and international fora on child protection has positioned Ghana as a model for child advocacy in Africa.
And that's Bright Appiah as well, Child Rights Protection, receiving a national award. Let's take you away from the Accra International Conference Center to the ministries and the seat of government, because the School Feeding Caterers Association of Ghana, they are demanding the immediate payment of outstanding arrears owed them before the current government hands over power. The group is this afternoon picketing at the seat of government, the Jubilee House, the Ministry of Gender, and the School Feeding Secretariat, demanding the settlement of these arrears. My colleague Job Labuja has been closely following this and is joining us right now with a bit more details. Job, can you tell us a bit more the reasons behind their protests? What prompted this immediate action? Well, it does appear Job's not joined us. Job, I'm asking if you could tell us what's prompting them to go out at this particular time and be on the street at this particular time, nowhere other than the Jubilee House, to be specific. What is informing their decision? Well, let's listen to some of the caterers, because Job has been speaking to a number of them as well. Let's try and listen to exactly what they've been telling him, and then we return and hopefully have a better connection to Job.
Ebra papa ko for this school feeding by ya o ja ye hwa na o de ka ema ne de ka omo de ma ne ka e ko ba se NDC fo bete p over zero camels enchia ye bia wenchia e na se sa pa ko ba se omo so ko no mu ja aka mahama ba ye obeja aka na o ko no ye ba ye na na kufo de bechi asa aka ni na ma ye wura kufo penso e ma na omo sika aka mu e be si na ye enchia. It is a NDC for the Yesro, San Shaya, no more bad, no more, and Baba Sen and Ado. So we are mobile. Then my question, Sir Wallentin Wood, quantity has so quiet campaign. Emily, Sia Santa Virginia Duha. The Niabrepa. Yes, Sanon Adaroma, on the can be a woman, almost can my Nessa. So a dia hopper, NDC for by woman, Jessica Nemaye.
And so the crux of it really is that they are seeking to have these monies paid them. And if you know the inside story as to school feeding secretariat, you perhaps understand why it's taken this political twist. But we'll move away from that and still stay on the subject of education, because students of the St. John's Bosco's College of Education in Navrongo in the Upper East region are this morning protesting, or rather this afternoon, against the decision of the college's council not to renew the tenure of its principal, Professor Joseph Amikuzunu. Professor Amikuzunu, who took office in 2020, has been directed by the council to step down on December 31, despite his suitability for an extension. Ahead of the protest, the police have flooded the school, indicating an order from above to stop the protest, for the student body has vowed to go ahead with the protest in their interest and that of the school. Upper East Regional Correspondent Castro Senyala is on this particular story. He's joined us right now with a bit more details. Castro, help us understand really what is happening. An extension for the principal, the student factor. How is this all playing out?
Right, Mawena, we are currently at the Navropio Palace, where the students have taken their petition following that resistance by the police for them to enter the campus. They are presenting their petition to the Navropio, who is listening to them keenly. Now, the governing council of the college has asked the professor, who has been principal of the institution since 2020, to step down. The reasons are very, very scanty. We are yet to get to the Catholic mission for that clarification on that. But we understand that his tenure ended after 4 years, and for that matter, he has to leave. But then the students are insisting that, look, Professor has done a lot. He has helped to resolve a land litigation issue which has been faced, which the school has faced for over 40 years. He has put in a lot of other very good policies that have helped move the school and students. And for that matter, they don't want the professor to be sacked or to be given the kick as far as being the principal is concerned. This morning, ahead of their planned demonstration or protests, the police arrived there. More than 30 men were brought there, and we understand that the order from above asked them to come there. But then the students are saying that irrespective of the order, they will go ahead with their planned demonstrations, if not today, but in subsequent days or in the days ahead. They've gone to the Gongonia Chief Palace, where the school is situated, presented a petition, and they furthered in their action by coming to the Navropio Palace, where we currently are. The Navropio is also receiving and listening to them as I speak right now. Now, the students say that they don't understand why the professor has been axed, because he has not done anything illegal to the best of their knowledge. They say that he has done so much, including constructing, a facility that has been left for over 50 years, and that for them is the best thing they need, the best leader they need. And for that matter, has to be, tenure has to be extended. We also understand that the principal has also written to have his contract extended, but that has also been shut down flatly by the governing council. Also, some men, the chairman of the council, who is in the person of Most Reverend Alfred Agenta, that he has taken the decision on his own without their involvement. And for that matter, the members of the council are also at loggerheads with the governing council. Back to you, Maweda.
Let's take a listen to the students that you've been interacting with.
We are not here to demonstrate because of his personality, but his achievement. That is why we are here. Yes. His achievement. Yes. He has done over 26 achievements, which we can present to you. But because of time, let me just say my brother has said many of them. Now, he is the only principal who will allow students to visit his office anytime, any day, to present their issues to them. Yes. And he listens to every student in the school. Now, what again I want to say is that this school, for the past 42 years, it doesn't have a wall. But today, we have a wall preventing thieves from coming in the school. Okay. Again, he has been able to work out to promote his staff, who has been due for promotion for over a number of years. And now they are being promoted. He is the only principal who has been able to build.
The student from the John Bosco's College of Education there. And Castro, thank you very much for the details as well. We're going for our second break here on News Central. We return with an interesting development at the airport for you. Please stay with us.
You know, one bucket of flamingo paint is equal to several buckets of any other paint brand on the market. Flamingo paint, superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage. Flamingo paint, simply superior. You know, one bucket of flamingo paint is equal to several buckets of any other paint brand on the market. Flamingo paint, superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage. Flamingo paint, simply one.
In a world where every moment.
Back here on News Central, we're taking you to the Ghana Airports Company, Kotoka to be specific, because news we're learning is that Magdana Aviation, their hub there, has been shut down over some debts owed the Ghana Airports Company Limited. And that's the development that we're learning of. The place was taken over by police. It's been shut down. Those are the pictures that you're seeing. We've thankfully been joined via Zoom right now by Kweku Amprofi. He is the CEO of Magdana Aviation, is joining us right now. Sir, thank you very much for speaking to us this afternoon. Talk to us. What is the situation with regards these alleged debts you owe the Ghana Airport Company, reason for which your aviation private hub has been closed?
Good afternoon. Thanks for having me on your program. And thanks to your viewers as well for tuning in to listen to us. I must admit that yes, we have had some issues with Ghana Airport Company today. They did go to the terminal and closed down access to the terminal. To give a bit of a background, number one, the news item that's circulating is that we owe $3 million. That is incorrect. We do have some debt that we have with Ghana Airport Company, but it's of some rent that we need to pay on the terminal, but also some land ground rent that we've been in conversation with them over the past couple of weeks. Now, we did make a case to Ghana Airport Company that the land for which they were requiring us to make payment is actually under litigation. There's a court case on the land as we speak. The court still hasn't made a decision yet on that case. We won at the High Court, and the other party appealed. So it's in the appeals court now. And the decision hadn't yet been made. We told Ghana Airport to wait until the court makes a determination. And once they do, then if we are.
Right, Mr. Amprofi, 2 quick questions. You say it's not $3 million that you owe. How much do you owe? And are you making the argument? It does appear we might have lost you briefly. Mr. Amprofi, I'm asking 2 quick questions. You say you do not owe $3 million, as has been alleged by the story. How much do you owe? And are you saying that the Terminal 1, which you own and run this private aviation services, has been closed down because of extra land you're expecting to pay for, which is under litigation, and not directly as a result of these debts you owe for the use of the terminal?
So I couldn't hear. All right, sorry, the line was breaking up a little bit. I couldn't hear the trailing end of what you said. But yes, I did say that we do not owe $3 million at the terminal.
How much do you owe?
We'll get to that in a moment, but we do not owe $3 million on the terminal. That $3 million that you're talking about is a bit from the terminal, but then the bulk of it is on the land issue that I talked about that we acquired from Ghana Airport Company that is currently in court. Now, last Friday, we issued a check to Ghana Airport Company for 2 million cedis that we lodged with them on Friday. That was for the terminal. That was for what we owed on the terminal. So we got very surprised to see that Ghana Airport Company had decided to, shut down access to the terminal. This is an international terminal. This is not a terminal that only is used by folks in Ghana. We manage international flights, private jet flights that are coming into the country. So we've been very surprised. I don't think it's a good image, not just for us, but also for the country as a whole. Most of the people who come in through with private jets come to the terminal. So it's definitely not the good image that we want to portray.
Right. Finally, from me, what's the next line of action? Because you say you've cleared the debt in relation to the terminal. Are you expecting that you'll be given access to be able to operate? What's the next line of action?
Our next line of action is to talk to Ghana Terminal and keep engaging Ghana Airport Company and keep engaging them. Again, as I said, we have lodged a check of 2 million cedis to them last Friday, just this Friday. I personally was the one who delivered the check to them. In addition to a letter stating the status of the negotiations we've been having with them for the past 2 weeks. That is the very reason why it was very surprising to see this call that I had made. I was in my house and I had a call around 4:30 a.m. from my operations manager that the terminal, we had folks from Ghana Airport Company who had come into the terminal and were, seizing access to my staff. So that was very shocking. So our next step is to continue to engage them. Let's make sure that they clear the check that we've submitted to them, and then let's keep engaging them to see the way forward. But in terms of the news that's out there that we owe $3 million on the terminal, that is absolutely false. We do not owe that.
Right then, Mr. Amprofi, I appreciate that you could speak to us this afternoon. That's Kwaku Amprofi. He is the CEO of McDan Aviation, speaking to us and essentially dispelling all rumors suggesting that they owe some $3 million for the use of Terminal 1, which they've not paid, reason for which that terminal has been shut down. He says they've cleared all debts in relation to the use of the terminal. All other matters are in relation to outstanding land, which is currently under litigation, and they will continue to engage the Ghana Airport Company Limited. That's how we'll end this afternoon's edition of News Central from us here at TV3. Next for you is the afternoon show on your television. Do stick and stay. I am Mawe Naigbeta. Many thanks for keeping us company.
La 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 la.